ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So yes, do not let your eyes deceive you. This is the Manticore. I did go ahead and purchase it, um, and I just took it out for its first battle. And after all said and done, I like it. There are some pros and cons to it. The cons right off the bat are your lack of ammunition. You get 20 shells, that's it. I do not take any HE. What is the pin on the HE? 60, yeah. Not even worth taking HE shells. Um, I split it 50-50 for the AP and APCR. We'll go over the penetration and the gun and all that good stuff. Uh, the so that's one downfall is you're only having 20 rounds, and the second downfall is you only get 8 degrees of gun elevation. I know you're like, oh, big deal, you got to point the gun up. Well, you'll see that I had a heck of a time trying to get a shot off at 705 on the enemy team, and the replay you're going to watch because I couldn't get my darn gun pointed up enough to be able to get a shot off at him. Gun depression is -8, so that's great, but I wish it were at least 16. That would help out a ton. But we'll go over it real quick, and then we'll do some gameplay and see how she does. So anyways, the gun is nice. It does have a rather lengthy reload for a light tank and for 390 average damage. So it's not an autoloader. You're not going to get out there and get a shot off every 7 seconds. It's not even... Some of the things on this tank I really wish they would change. Like definitely the amount of shells, the gun elevation, and the reload. It's ridiculous that you're doing 390 average damage and it's got a reload of a heavy tank at almost 12 seconds. Yeah, 4.29 rounds a minute. Standard pen is 248 with AP, 268 with APCR, and 60 with HE. 390 average damage, 480 with your HE, which it's 60 penetration. So unless you're hitting something that's another Manticore or an FB4005 stage 2 in the side or rear or something where there's no armor, you're not going to do 480. You'll be lucky if you do 100. Average damage per minute is pitiful at 1671. Dispersion is 0.38, which sucks. The aim time is awesome at 1.9 seconds. So, you get 2 crew members. I made sure I had 6 cents in this, and I'm working on a view range because, it's a light tank. You want a good view range. I put in a gun rammer, the vertical stabs, and vents. I went with vents to help out big time the dispersion, the reload. Basically, it needs anything that can help the dispersion, the reload. It's bad. Yeah. So I like it. It's fast, very nimble, very maneuverable. Fast. It's just the gun needs some big time loving. So, average damage per shot's 390. Average penetration we went over. My rate of fire, I got it up to 5.08 seconds. Or, excuse me, if I can talk right. 5.08 rounds a minute. So, the reload is 11.81. Yes, you heard me right. 11.81. So, basically, almost 12 seconds for a light tank to do 390 average damage. That is just sad. Gun depression is -8, which is great, but your elevation is only 8 also, so you can barely point the thing up higher than you're looking at right here. I am dead serious. You'll see in the replay I couldn't get the gun up enough to shoot at something that was almost directly in front of me. You think, if you're looking at this like this, oh shit, you're not going to be able to see my mouse. I was going to say, 8 is pretty good, for gun depression, but 8 elevation, yeah, that's just not hacking it when you got to try and get your gun up enough to shoot at something that's in front of you and you can't. It's because it has no elevation. I've got my aim time down to 1.86 seconds, which is great. I got my dispersion down to 0.37, which still is not that good. And we've got our average damage per minute up to 1981. Good year, but not that high of average damage per minute. You have 1,400 hit points. Your armor is non-existent. It's a light tank. I love Alrighty, so here we are in Redshire in the Manticore. Every time I hear the name of this tank, I think of a super villain. Manticore Man. Shows you what kind of nerd I am. But anyway, so you get not a whole lot of options on this map for a light tank other than you want to go spot stuff. You definitely don't want to go over here because you're going to be head on with all their heavy tanks. And IS-7s from the front, no thank you. At first, I was really thinking of coming over in this area right here because there's no artillery and using the high mounting of the gun on the turret to basically just kind of weasel over the hill a little bit, get a shot off and back down. But with 1,400 hit points, IS-7s or a T-57 Heavy, if they clipped out on me, even a T-110E4, I mean, that hits you once, that's half your hit points. So option number two, do I come up here and try getting lights up on the stuff on the hill? Well, I was thinking about it, then I saw they had a standard B, Skoda T50, couple tanks with auto loaders, and I also saw they had a Sheridan. If you had the derp gun on there and that hits this, yeah, that'll be a short trip back to the garage. So I figured I'm going to take option number three. I'm going this way. That way, anything that comes out of the castle over here, down in this area, I was hoping to light. When I first take off, I had forgot to turn the volume back up on the game after I did a replay for you guys in the object. Was it 144, 244? That tier 6. So I kind of drive into the red line here. So if you see me doing that, don't think I'm retarded, please. I forgot to turn the volume back up and I couldn't hear crap. Actually, I'm going to keep it at this so you can see spins fast. Maneuverability, awesome. Speed, awesome. You can see we're up to 60 like that. Until I hit this red line up here and I kind of keep going into the red line. Right here, even if it's smushed into the red line, I'm still going fast. Well, I got my volume fixed and here we go again. We're off. Back up to 60. 68. 69. It gets up to top speed fast. I was just trying to get some early lights, nothing. Figure I'd swing around here. Get back in this little valley here. I keep playing Bumpty Bumpty with the 1-2-1 here. I mean, literally, we keep hitting each other. Thank goodness they took team damage off. Because literally, I just keep bumping into him, and he keeps bumping into me. Now, 8 degrees of gun depression is pretty good. You can get a little bit better off the rear of the tank. So I turn around here in a minute because I'm going to get better gun depression off the back side of the tank than off the front. So you'll see me kind of flipper around here a minute. I was thinking I was going to get some lights. They're just on the edge of my circle there. They're just outside of my view range, so didn't think I was going to get them spotted. I was hoping that this bat chat was going to get them spotted and be just inside, you know, just in that there enough to where I can get shots on them. Now this is where you can see I'm doing the old reverse off the backside of the tank because I think you get a little bit better gun depression that way. At least it seems to. I didn't go to Tanks GG and actually check it. There we are. I was going to say I was surprised this stuff wasn't lit and that little stinker pots just kept where I couldn't get any shots on them. Now in a second you're going to see a Object 705 down on the EFG1 line here in a minute. And you're going to see exactly what I was talking about by the gun elevation that you just see right here. Boom. I can't get the gun to go any higher than that, right? That's it. That's completely as far up as I can get it. And look at this. I mean, I'm aiming at the building right here. I mean, that's as far up. Even when I thought, God, what the hell's going on? Because I forgot the gun elevation sucks so bad. Even in this area right in front, you can't see my mouse, I keep forgetting. This area right here, right in front of me, I automatically, as soon as I hit that little dip, lost all my gun elevation. I'm like, God, this sucks. I can't get my gun up high enough. And then I saw I kept backing up trying to get some shots on these guys. And I just, he must, I don't know how he was in there where I wasn't getting any shots on him. I know I had my gun in the right area. And so I back up a little more thinking, all right, I'll back up a little more. Well, then I get up to the point here where I can't get my gun up high enough to get shots. There, then I see the standard B. Get a shot on him, somebody else hits him. He went from full health to almost dead. But this is where the maneuverability of this is nice, because you can see the old shells just coming around me. And I don't think he expected to see a 1-2-1 right there when he come up over the hill. So, yeah, that's one standard B out of the game. And that is a very dangerous tank with an auto loader that does that reload type magazine, and the 1-2-1 was kind of staying here with me, which I thought was awesome. 705 coming up over this way. He pulls out here. No, actually, I think I back up to get a shot off on him. Hit his upper plate, nothing, no luck. So I go over to a premium round, and this is where you want to make your shots count, select them. 705A, very hard to penetrate, great armor. So we hit the object 430, 391. That was with a premium round. I'm loading premium still because I know the 705, I'm going to have trouble penning it. It's just got there. I can't get my gun up enough to get shots off. Thank goodness the things that were shooting at me were missing, but I just couldn't get my gun up high enough to pull the trigger. And this is where that Skoda T50's loaded with premium shells, and he's plugging me. So, yeah, he hit me. Oh, so one shell he hit me with just knocked my track off. Thank goodness. The second shell actually hit me and penned me for 354. You can see exactly where he hit me. The big purple mark right there in the track area. So you can see the gun elevation is definitely a huge issue. I would have easily gotten shots off at the 705 if I could have got my flipping gun up high enough, but I could not get my gun up high enough to get shots off at them. I was contemplating whether to YOLO the 705. I held off though because I've got 1,046 hit points. I was just trying to keep them lit because my team was getting some good shots on him. The 1-2-1 looked like he was whittling them down pretty good. I go to pull the trigger right there, and just as I pull the trigger, he gets knocked out, and I'm kicking myself because every time you pull the trigger, you're one closer to being empty. And I'm down to 9 standard and 6 premium, so it's down to a few tanks. So I'm thinking to myself, time to push up here and try and get some damage before they roll over the rest of the enemies here. I'm not lit, but the Skoda T50 is. So we pull up here, put a nice shell right into the front of him there. Obviously he knows I'm here now, but with my 11.81 freaking load time, I mean, that's a friggin' heavy tank load time. He misses, we put a shell in him, he does pound one into me, but he takes a shot. He was aiming behind me. He must have shot at the 1-2-1. But we're loaded, so kaplow, take him out. And now I'm just going to head towards the enemy cap and just work my way towards these guys over at the ABC 878 line there. I don't know why my mouse quit working where you can't see it. I went into the settings and looked, and I don't see anything saying disappear during games. So I don't know why my mouse disappeared during my replays. It always used to be there, and now for some reason you can't see them. I don't know why. So we're just going to try getting over here and see if we can get any kind of damage at all. 57 Heavy's in there, but he's in the rock, so I can't get any shots at him. The Sheridan is going to be dead in a minute. At first, I was going to go after the 57 Heavy with these guys, and I thought, oh, hell no, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 tanks going over at him. So I said, the hell with it. He's the only tank left. I'm going to back up in here and at least get some cap points. But you can see that this is very fast, traverse fast, moves fast, picks up speed fast. Great accuracy on the gun, it seems to me. For what it says, what the accuracy should be, it doesn't seem like it should be as accurate as it is, but it's pretty darn accurate. But it's got soft stats that we can't see. So, um, yeah, that Skoda's probably kicking himself for having a magazine full of heat shells loaded to go through something with the 50, or actually on the side, so it was what, 30 millimeters of armor. He could have went through that with a spit wad. Um, but I like everything about this except for the amount of shells, and the gun elevation really blows. I would have got probably another six, 700 damage on that 705 over on the other side there if I could have got my gun up high enough to shoot at them. But yeah, you struggle to get your gun up, and it really stinks. Another one that you'll have trouble like getting your gun and doesn't have enough gun elevation is the it's right before the 50B. It's the I am drawing a blank, guys. French, French. It seems like it's I can't think of what it is. Anyways, it's tier 9 right before the 50B. That's another one that you have a lot of trouble with gun elevation. It's really piss poor. Not as bad as this is though. So, yeah, gun elevation, bad drawback, and amount of shells. Uh, I mean, all my shells hit except for I believe two, and I had 9 standard and 3 premium left. So, yeah, you don't want to be shooting buildings and fences to knock something down because with 20 shells, you will go through them fast. Even with a 12-second horrendous long load time for a light tank, you'll still go through them pretty darn quick. So, anyways, if you want to hold on for a minute, I'll have some post-game stats for you. So hold on, and I will be right back. Alrighty, the Manticore. So, do I like it? Do I hate it? Do you guys really care? um, Gun elevation, big issue. Very, very, very big issue. Um, Gun depression is nice with -8. I wish it were 10, but when you have a gun elevation of 8, uh, that Object 705, I couldn't get my gun up enough when I was backing up to get shot. The reverse on this, what is the speed? Because let me tell you, oh, 25. Yeah, it was nice. Um, and it's like instant too. It's like, bam, you're doing 25. I love the maneuverability of this thing. Awesome. View range, I was a little surprised that I wasn't spotting that Skoda T50 when the 705 was down there. I was trying to keep him spotted, which I did, and he gave, well, a whopping 194 damage upon me spotting him, but I kept him spotted. And the standard B spotted him. He got hit for 442. So I was a little surprised that the Skoda T50, I didn't have him spotted. I was like, wow, he's putting shots into me, which I was getting spotted by their 705A or 705, but for me not to spot him, I was really kind of dumbfounded. I did bounce around. None penetrating. Probably just knocked my track off. I was going to say because I didn't realize I bounced any rounds. Sure felt like I was getting hammered. But we hit the object 430 for 391, 390 average damage, so a whopping 1 over the average. Standard B, we hit him for 393, so a whopping 3 over the standard average damage. And the Skoda T50, we put 3 shots into him for 1,036, finished him off, and knocked out his ammo rack. And I'll just say he knocked my track off because I know we didn't bounce any shots. And we got 18 base capture points. At the very end there was a heavy. Half the team was closing in on him. I could have got over there with the speed of this because let me tell you, maneuverability is phenomenal in this thing. But by the time I got over there, I might, if I got lucky, got a shot off. Um, and on shells on this, I brought 50-50, 10-10, because you get all of 20 shells. And I went to take a shot. I believe it was at the standard B, maybe the 430. I can't remember. At something though, and just as I pulled the trigger, he got knocked out. And you just cringe when you have 20 shells to work with, and you pull the trigger after something dies. It's just like, oh, crap. Because, I mean, you really value those shells. You don't blind shot. Oh, I think there's a tank in that bush. I'll put 3 shells into there. No, you don't knock down buildings or walls. No, absolutely not. You only pull that trigger if you know you have a shot at something and if you absolutely think you might penetrate it. The 705, great armor. I did take a shot at him and it did bounce. I want to see how much just for shits and giggles, see how much he bounced. Oh, he did 0 damage. Yeah, he bounced 1140. One of those were one of my shots. Because that thing does have really good armor. The penetration on the shells, obviously we went over them. Not superb for a tier 10, but it is a light tank. They kind of expect you to get on the rear and sides of stuff, not the fronts. But the problem that you're going to run into, number one, is shells. I know I said when this came out I was not going to get it. I did change my mind. I watched a video from True Voodoo, and he said if you point the gun in that, the general direction of a tank, you're probably going to hit it, and it is very accurate. I got to say, I believe all the shells that all the times I had 8 shots, 7 hit, 5 pins. So I did blow one shot off into something. Um, I think that was. I'm pretty sure that was at something that was. It could have been a hit or miss. It was like a 50-50 chance of even hitting it. So, but it did seem pretty accurate. Um, we did 1800. Excuse me, 20 damage, and the WN8 for that match was 2083. I think the WN8 was so high due to the fact that no one really has this thing. You rarely ever see one out on the battlefield. This is the first time I've seen one on the battlefield, and it's because I was in it. We had a great team. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, seventh highest at 1820 damage. Got 1 kill, base experience of 699. I played it really, really, really safe. First match in it. You don't get, if I remember right, a whole lot of hit points. Yeah, 1400 hit points. You're looking at, well, most of the tier 10 light tanks. I'm used to heavy tank mentality, 2,300, 3,000, and I see 1,400. I'm thinking, oh, tier 8. But that's how the light tanks are. You don't have a lot of hit points. So I did play kind of safe, but I mean, I still did a pretty good amount of damage. And then the drawing a blank. Skoda T50 there. Finally, I went after him and lit him up and tore him up. So the 390 alpha per hit is nice. I wish it seemed like it were hitting a little bit higher than 391 and 393, but I take it for what it is. And, we had 8 shots, 7 hit, 5 pen. So we did bounce 2 rounds. I know one was in the 705. I can't remember. I think it was a turret of another tank or something. So and the penetration of the shells. I swap back and forth between premium and standard APCR. The velocity of the shell. I like this mod that I have because I can show you by just hovering over the tank. Velocity of the standard AP shell is 1100 and the APCR shell is 1375 and the HE shell is 1100, which I was very surprised that the HE and AP shell were the same velocity meters per second. So 1375, you see there's you got a boost there on the shell speed, so you don't have to lead it as much. 1100, that's nothing to scoff at. That's a pretty fast shell, so you don't have to lead the targets a whole lot. I mean, you look at like a Type 5 Heavy, you're looking at 850 meters per second, so you're almost, close to doubling that. Well, 16. Whoops, if I go over the right thing. So, well, about 2.5 times faster than like the Type 5 Heavy. So that tells you it's not a derpy gun. The shell does get there. I don't, the K91, the shell's even faster. Yeah, 1700 on your standard. Oh, very interesting. Your AP shell is 1700 and your APCR, your premium shell, is only 950. Wow, I didn't realize that. I thought that AP, because your APCR shells are usually always faster, always. but your premium is obviously going to be your yellow color. 950. Hmm, very interesting. 1700 on your AP shell. That's like you pull the trigger and the shell's there. So that's 950, and our premium shell's 13. The shells on this are pretty darn fast then. I mean, they're not like the AP shell at 1700 meters per second. I keep pointing at the wrong darn thing. 1700 meters per second on the AP shell for the K90. That's why. That would make more sense. Um, yeah, your standard shell's APCR. That's why it's 1700. I forgot to click on the tank. That makes a little more sense if I'm looking at the right shell, matching it up with the numbers. The standard or the premium shell, and this is heat, 950, and HE for your regular HE shells, 800. So it's 1700 is APCR. That makes a lot more sense now that I actually highlighted the frickin' tank. Because what I was doing, stupid me, I had this tank highlighted, looking at that ammo and hovering over their numbers. So yeah. So when you click on the K91, APCR, I was going to say that's always faster. 1700 feet or meters per second, heat 950, and HE is 800. So the shells on the K91 are pretty darn fast, but Manticore, yeah, the shells on this one are not too slow. Anyways, so where are we at here? From a distance of more than 300 meters, 391. Penetrated or hits received, we got hit 3 times, 2 penned. One was an unpenetrating round, and we got hit with some splat. Somebody was shooting at me with HE because they didn't have any, no one had artillery. I don't believe anybody had artillery. Somebody was shooting at me with HE. Well, you see a Manticore, it has, I mean, the hull is 50 in the front, 80 in the front. So if you're going to hit this thing, you're going to want to hit it in the rear at 25 on the hull and 30 on the turret. Even the side, 30 is on the hull, 40 on the turret. I mean, yeah, if you hit it in the rear and the sides, you're probably going to do a pretty decent amount of damage. But the front, 50 and 80, that's not high, but I mean, it's not super bad. It's not like the Scorpion, not the Scorpion G, but the little Scorpion. What is that, 1? I think that's 1 millimeter all the way around. But anyways, we damaged 3, destroyed 1. Damage with our assistance was 636. Base capture points, we got 18. After all said and done, we made 37,495 credits. That was with ammo supply, which was the most at 34, and our vehicle was 11,024. We didn't get blowed up, but we lost some hit points because the Skoda T50, I think, all 3 of his shells that he shot us with went right through us like a butter. And we completed some mission to get an extra 50. So yeah, it looks like 80, 70, 60, 80, 40, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 33. We probably would have lost 1,000 credits if it wasn't for the 50,000 extra reward thing, whatever that was for. I made sure that I had 6 cents on this. I boosted the commander up to get 6 cents. A light tank, that is at a minimum you want to have 6 cents, because if you get spotted in this thing and you don't realize it, you can get from full health to dead right fast, quick, and in a hurry. Because let's say you got a Type 5 heavy aiming at you with the derp gun, and he's like, oh, he doesn't know he's lit because you're just sitting there and you don't think you're lit and you're actually lit. And that Type 5 heavy loads in and he's all set and he's aimed in on you and he pulls that trigger. Your 1,400 hit points are going to be gone in one shot. So you got to watch out for that. You know, that's why I always at least want 6 cents on my light tanks. I like it. Like I said, I don't like the limited amount of shells. 20 shells really sucks. Um, Yeah, yeah, the 20 shells really blows, and the gun elevation of 8, yeah, that's a joke. I couldn't get my gun up high enough to shoot at the 705 a couple times. I backed up and I was like, what's going on? I couldn't get my gun up, and I'm like, my facing the wrong way. You know, I was backing in on purpose so that if a bunch of them started coming out of that building, I wanted to be able to get a beeline out of there, not have to turn the tank and then run. I wanted to be able just to hit forward and go. It is fast, very maneuverable, but that gun is like behemothly long. I'm surprised it doesn't drag on the ground. Um, it's just, it looks so funny because you would think this would be like an artillery. I mean, you would see that thing pointing way up in the air, you know. Whoops, what did I just click on? Oh, I must have clicked on the front line thing. Oh, yeah, back there. Yeah, you would look at this and think it's like an artillery or something. That gun's just freaking huge. But penetration, yeah, I wish it were a little bit better, but, you know, what are you going to do? Anyways, yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that match. If you did, please click the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. You guys take it easy, be safe, and I will see you on the battlefield.